Welcome once again to the Horror with Nate.
And Mike.
We like to bring you a full-length, hour-long podcast every week where we go deep and dark into the bowels of horror and really root around. But
Yes.
it's a terrible analogy, bowels and rooting around, now that I think about it.
Well.
But our love of horror movies cannot be contained to a simple hour a week, so we like to come at you as often as we can, reviewing newer films and also some of our favorite films.
Yeah.
Today, we are going to take a closer look at something that falls into both of those categories, a movie called The Battery.
Yes. The Battery, this is something that what we'd like to do here is, we want to review the newest stuff, but one of the other things we really want to try and do is get word out on ones that you need to be watching either the filmmakers or you need to see these movies. This one is, I don't know, it's about maybe 2 years old at this point. It is one of my favorite horror movies of the last few years just because it kind of isn't a horror movie. Have you seen it?
And yeah, it's in many ways it's an indie drama.
Yeah.
With zombies, and even saying it like that makes it sound gimmicky, like one of those zombie comedies.
It's not
and
gimmicky.
It isn't. And also, I think it's worth mentioning that this movie has been very well received critically.
Oh yes, very much so.
It was last year I saw named to a lot of top 10 horror movie of the year lists.
Yeah, and I agree it should, because like a genuinely talented filmmaker, it's written and directed by Jeremy Gardner. Shot by Christian Stella. The behind the scenes of it is very interesting too. I'll go into a little bit about that. It cost $6,000 to make this movie.
So that's like Clerks or El Mariachi. It's a pittance. And when you have, as we've discussed before in other reviews, when you have that little money to work with, all you really have is your creativity, your imagination, and your talent.
Right. And with all of that, it still doesn't feel the need to be gimmicky or here we are, this is our movie, we'll look at all of this cool stuff we can do. It is very reserved and it shows the work of somebody who's going to be a very good director. It already is, but a very good director.
So for anybody out there that has never heard of The Battery before, give us a little taste of what is the movie? What is it about?
The Battery is about the zombie apocalypse is already come and gone. It's basically just left to nature. There are zombies around. They're very few and far between in this movie. It is about two guys, the former baseball players who don't really like each other too much. And now they are stuck going through this lonely, barren zombie apocalypse with just each other. And how that works and how that kind of thing functions. It's very much a character piece. What's cool is it's characters we don't normally see in character pieces. These guys are rude, crude, almost like Kevin Smith characters, but more genuine than that.
The acting did feel natural.
Yes, they're very. Jeremy Gardner, who wrote and directed, like I said, he also plays the lead role of Ben. And was joined by another guy named Adam. I'm not quite sure what his last name is, but it's basically just the two of them the entire movie, leading up to the third act, which is just them in the back seat of a car surrounded by zombies and having to deal with this. It is a very quiet, very, very good. On any movie scale, horror or not, this is a very good movie. A bit of little trivia for you, the Battery is... That term comes from baseball. It's when a pitcher, it's the term for a pitcher and a catcher's relationship. A pitcher and a catcher are the Battery. How does that relationship work when the team has dissolved and when society has gone to shit too? Battery, very good movie. Highly, highly recommended by Mike here on The Horror.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how high would you rate this?
I don't know if I would go 9 out of 10 just because sitting here reviewing horror movies, I almost feel it should be reviewed on an actual, movie scale, and I would give it a solid 8 out of 10 on any scale. This is a very, very good movie.
All right, that's high praise indeed. Now, where can we find this movie if we want to watch it
The Battery, you can find it. I bought a copy of it from Walmart. I don't know exactly where it's streaming. I'll try and put that in a link below. But I would say,
if it's on disc though, we know it's on DVD. Is it also on Blu-ray?
yes, it is. I would highly recommend buying this because one of the other great things about it is it comes with a full-length documentary on the making of it that any filmmaker who wants to go out and make a $6,000 movie needs to see. It is Filmmaking 101. Check that out. It's called The Tools of Ignorance. Comes along with the DVD. A top-owned priority film for filmmakers.
Now, this was Gardner's debut?
Absolutely, it was. He was a bartender, and actually support this movie again because it got out on torrents and bled them so dry that Jeremy Gardner now is back at work as a server at a restaurant after making one of the best horror movies of the last few years.
He doesn't have another project lined up. They're not giving him a franchise. Oh, excellent.
But he had to make this himself. Again, look for this. I don't know too much information about when it's coming. It's playing film festivals right now. Texarkana Will Survive is their new film, and it should be out pretty soon. I'll keep you up to date on that. But again, they had to make it all themselves because their money ran out.
You hear that, people? Your torrenting and pirating is driving independent horror filmmakers back into real jobs. That is bullshit, and we will not stand for it.
That is fucking bullshit. Buy The Battery on DVD. Support Jeremy on Twitter at The Battery Movie, Christian Stella, all of them. Show your support. Let's do this, guys. I think that's about all we need to say on it.
Yeah. That wraps up this review. We will be back very soon with another full-length episode of The Horror with Nate.
And Mike.
And look for us on social media. Fright Flicks with a CKS is on Twitter and on Facebook. And Nate Flicks with an X, also Twitter and Facebook. Until next time.
This is Mike.
And this is Nate.
See you later.